The other time we spoke about social media, and it was between Deborah and Benes, and these people were about to beat me here. Especially Benes. Benes wanted to cut off my head because I was disagreeing with her. Yeah, but today we are going to talk about loneliness. Loneliness. Social media was an interesting topic. Yeah, we learned a lot, and the video is yet to be out. But today we are going to talk about loneliness. Yeah, loneliness. So, what is loneliness? I believe that loneliness is a feeling where people like get isolated, or like they get disconnected from their loved ones, or like people or their families. Basically, that is what I know about loneliness. So I don't know if anybody has a different definition of what loneliness is. Looking at this country, there's a lot of loneliness, especially in I wouldn't say I've not lived in other states apart from Georgia and New York, but I would say that in New York there was a lot of people who were very isolated from the society.
I think the definition I'll give is similar to what you said. It's like a mental state of like you disconnect from the place where you felt belonged to at first. You feel that disconnect, and then you constantly begin to isolate. Yeah. So I think that's just how I can define loneliness, when you don't have anybody to lean on.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that's just how I can define it.
That's nice. Okay. So what do we think are the main reason or like contributors to loneliness in today's world? What can we say is the main cause?
I think, I won't say there is a main cause. I think because in my own opinion, I think there are like different things that make people lonely, and one of them I can talk of is low self-esteem. When you have low self-esteem first of all brings you to a certain level. Like it first of all like breaks you off yourself. When you're by yourself, then you begin to feel like you begin to feel inferior. You begin to feel like you're not being able to meet up with your other people. So that loneliness really starts from the mind, really. So it pushes you away because you feel you can't be among these people. So I can say low self-esteem can be a cause of loneliness.
Is it the same as social comparison, like comparing yourself to other people?
Yes, I think I can. Yeah, they are related. Yes.
Yeah, because there are other people like that's why they don't really attend like other social gatherings and all that, because they feel like they can't meet that standard that they have. So looking at yourself going to like a birthday party or something where you go and then they wear like Gucci stuff, expensive clothes, you might make a decision of staying in the home rather than finding yourself in that place.
Yeah, I think some contributors to loneliness are lack of vulnerability and communication, in the sense that like a lot of people are going through things, even kids, adults, like everybody's going through something.
Yep,
and instead
all of
of
us.
everybody, and instead of actually being transparent about what we're going through and being there, like forming that support system for each other, everybody isolates and like, okay, I'm gonna deal with my own stuff, and they can deal with their own stuff. So it's like nobody is really there for anybody because everybody's just on their own. And I cannot help you with what I don't know, and you can't help me with what you don't know. If I don't communicate how I'm feeling and how something is making me feel, you're not gonna know to be like, okay, I'm gonna make you feel better by doing this or anything. So it's kind of like we've gotten into a sense, where especially men. I'm not a man, but I have brothers, and I've been around a lot of men. It's kind of like frowned upon for you guys to show any self of like emotional vulnerability or anything like that. So a lot of men are depressed, but they can't say nothing. They just keep it in and just feel lonely because it's like nobody understands how they're feeling. They can't talk to anybody about it. It just leads to a whole cycle. That's why you see suicide rates like rising up and all of that, because men are depressed, and we're in a society where we've suppressed the feeling of being vulnerable and open about your feelings. So I think that's a huge cause of loneliness in our society.
I want to fight for men. The society makes us feel like that. Yeah. Blame the society. They make us feel like that. Well, I don't want to like go into it, because if I start talking, we might probably go into something else. But
so you want to fight for men?
Yeah. Let's all fight for men.
Because the society makes us feel that way. You know, society gives us this impression of if you're a man, you're a man. Like you're not supposed to Exactly. You're not supposed to feel. You're not supposed to express. You're not supposed to talk too much. You're not supposed to say too much. You're supposed to. You're supposed to know everything. You understand? That's what the society believes a man should be, which is wrong. It's wrong.
You guys are like Superman.
Women, we also like feel. We feel. Yeah.
It's just like we act like men.
Exactly. And the society makes us feel that way.
Are you guys starting like a movement for men? Men emotions matter.
I think that should be another topic we should say on this.
Can you make a shirt? Men emotions matter for the podcast.
Men's lives matter.
Yeah.
I don't want to start a movement here.
So what else can we talk about?
Pressure. I think pressure is a huge thing. So like with the youth, it's like when it comes to relationships, everybody's like in a relationship and it gets to a time where you're like, oh my goodness, I'm so lonely. I have nobody to call my own. Like, they feel like they have nobody. Like, I'm like, what's wrong with me? And that's when the low self-esteem comes in. Like, oh, what is wrong with me? Especially for girls, this is a huge thing for girls. Like, why don't I have nobody coming from like trying to get with me and all of that, and you just start feeling lonely, and it just a whole spiral that just keep going. So, yeah.
I think another cause of loneliness can be social media, technology, yes,
social media.
Because in today's world, if you go for a social event, instead of people to not be on their phones and hold a conversation, everybody's going to come all the way from their houses only to be on their phones.
No socialization.
I was telling one of my friends one time that if I ever have to like have a social event, I'll tell everybody, please, no phone. No phones. No phone. Don't bring out your phone. It's not allowed. I'm sorry. You hold a conversation with the person in front of you. Talk like.
What if it's awkward?
What?
What if it's just awkward?
No, it's not going to be. I mean, we had a life before like the phones came, so we should be able to build it. We should be able to build.
As Gen Z, we don't know.
But I think one of the things that can cause loneliness is your phone. You know, you spoke about attending a birthday party. Sometimes being on your phone, you can just be like, I think I'd just rather just be on my phone all day instead of going out and go and start seeing people, you know, start being scared and all that. So I think to some extent, this technology, social media can cause loneliness. I don't think a remote work can cause loneliness because you are working remotely, working with other people. So you're not like actually secluded from people. You know the points that we've mentioned, like low self-esteem, not having the ability to talk, social media, those things bring you back to yourself. Like there are things that can push you back into your room and you're just there.
Then in that case, I can argue with you that with the social media too. You are engaged.
You're engaged.
But they think that's engagement. Engagement goes beyond just your phone. You know, it actually means physically being present with people. But people see the phone and that's their only form of engagement.
Yeah.
But we are humans. We need engagement, like actual physical, human interactions. And you don't get that if you have the phone up in your face all the time. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm going to blame the society again. Because society is is the reason why we have half of some of the issues we human beings have in the world. So I'm going to blame the society again. I know that this is going to be on.
It's personal.
Yeah. But I think the kind of picture the society gives. Let me start with both genders. It actually has an effect on how on like whether somebody's going to feel lonely or not. Now, I was talking about the men. Okay, let me just go to the women. Take, for example, like in Africa, where we're from, everybody expects that, okay, a lady is supposed to marry at a certain age. Now, if for some reason she doesn't get married at a certain age, then her parents start to be in her business and asking her, exactly, when I go to
I'm a victim.
Exactly. When I go to
I'm telling you, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'll call my mom. And I'm like, oh, Mom, I have great news. Did you meet somebody?
Oh.
And I'm like, is that what you're thinking about? I'm like, Debbie, so you still haven't met anybody? I worry about you.
You understand?
I'm a victim.
Exactly. So the mentality of the society can push.
Deborah is there.
Please don't put me on blast.
Put your number over there.
I don't have a phone.
So, the society has a way of making us lonely. And just like what I said about what people feel about what a woman should be, the way the society thinks about what a man can be. And many more times than not, because we are not the owner of our lives, God is the owner of our lives. God is actually planning our lives different from what the society thinks about. So the thought of the society can cause loneliness. So that's how I feel the society and culture makes people feel lonely. Yeah, that's society.
Yeah. And touching on that, it's kind of like society's standard of beauty can be a huge factor.
Right.
Because especially girls, they go on social media, see all these Instagram models who are not even real. Then they're like, why don't I look like that? Why am I this? Why am I that? And then it's just a whole they feel they can't talk to anybody about it. So there's insecurity, and then you're just feeling lonely because you're just dealing with it by yourself, and you have nobody to talk to. So that is society is the problem.
Another thing that can also is our culture. Our culture can bring about some kind of loneliness to us, the way our culture defines who we are supposed to be. That can bring about
I'm not sure about that because I know what culture you're talking about.
Okay.
I know you're American, both American.
Okay. I don't know. I've spent more of my years in Africa. I can talk more about Africa. So,
but Africa, we place a lot of value in interdependency. So what do you mean by that? Because in Africa we socialize a lot.
Well, right. I can. Don't worry, I got you. Your lawyer.
Okay.
I got you. You know, for example.
That's what good to support me.
And Joe, you're gonna be my lawyer.
From what he's saying in terms of culture, so like Ghana, we have the same Bema and Sue, men don't cry.
Okay.
That is a huge, like we just said, suppressing your emotions.
Exactly.
A huge cause of being lonely, because you can't show any emotions. You have to be strong and big, and even when you feel sad, you can't show that. You have to be a man only, and that is a cause
if it's in that direction, yeah. Okay.
I win. But
I have one more thing. Family can also cause loneliness. The way our parents brought us up can actually cause loneliness. In Africa, everybody believes that there's a way you should bring up a child. And in my own opinion, I feel that every child has a different personality. And therefore, upbringing should be different. But you know how our African parents are. They don't care about that. This is the way you do this. This was how you must do. So I feel that can also cause. That's how the culture and environment can bring loneliness to a person.
And in terms of family, because I feel like when you have a really solid bond with your parents and stuff, and you talk to them about everything, and you feel comfortable enough to even talk about stuff that you're dealing with, it can reduce loneliness sometimes.
Correct.
So I feel, because when we say alone, people can literally have family members in the house, live in the house with family, and still feel lonely. Why is that? Why do we have family and why do we have friends? Because we're not really checking up on our loved ones, and we assume they're okay because they look okay.
And
but
not seen anything.
When is the last time you actually asked your friend or your daughter or somebody, hey, how are you feeling mentally? How are you feeling emotionally? That could bring up a lot of conversations.
With Africans, we are not good in doing
Exactly. Yeah, we suppress emotions
I agree,
a lot.
100%.
Yes. See, the same thing about African culture.
So does that have an impact on your mental health? Being alone?
Yeah, it does.
Do people
it makes
get
you depressed. When you're alone, that's the next thing that sets in. When you're alone, especially depending on what is going on in your mind, you begin to feel depressed, and then
you become
the quality of the thoughts. Yeah, the quality of the thoughts that comes to your mind the qualities begin to be low. Getting to the point where the person just begins to thinking of committing suicide or takes his own life. Yeah. So it gets all the way down to that level. So I think that's how it.
Some even begin to talk to themselves.
Yeah.
And that's the beginning of madness.
And also,
I'm telling you, haven't you? I've seen instances like that. I've seen people go.
I don't think it's all the time, because sometimes I think to myself. I think. But for some cases. When those people do it, you think in the bathroom, that kind of. You guys don't do it. I don't want to feel lonely, bro.
Lonely. I guess you're I am so lonely. But I have thing is I got it. Sorry. Okay. You get into the mindset of especially if by God's grace you get through that whole depression state and all that. I get into myself. I don't need nobody. I'm alone. I've been struggling this whole time by myself. I've been hustling by myself. I don't need nobody. And that's where it's because the empathy. You start losing that part of you to like actually relate to people because you're used to being like alone and dealing with stuff alone. And that's how we get people who have no form of remorse because they've been alone and dealing with people. They've not been with people to actually care for people. And exactly. So it's kind of like nobody cared for me. Why should I care for you? And then that's where a whole lot of issues start.
That's true.
Well, some people don't have family, you have friends. Talk to God. And actually, we need to get out the house. Put yourself out there. You need God. There's no way. If you don't have God, you need God. You need God. Like, I have a personal story to this. Like, I'm very social, as you guys can tell, but it got to a point where I felt very lonely. I was like, oh man, I have no friends because like the friends that I used to hang out with at that time, they were not good influences. I had to cut them off. So I felt like, oh my God, I have no friends right now. I'm lonely and everything. And then I was praying and everything, just alone with God and all of that, which I can entertain myself. I'm very goofy when I'm by myself, so that was something. So I was praying. I was like, okay, you go to Bible studies. What about people in Bible studies? Why don't you try to? At first, I have friends. So I don't feel the need to go and make more friends when I go to Bible study. I just go listen and leave. I don't socialize. I don't do anything. I was like, you know what? Let me actually start socializing in Bible studies. And there was this one of my closest friends now. Her name is Janelle. She always sits by herself. So I sat next to her. We started talking. We bonded immediately. And then I met another girl, one of my close friends, Madison. And we met. It felt like therapeutic. And it's crazy because she was also going through a time of loneliness at that time too. And it's for some way that brought us together. And now we're like super close. Like she's one of my closest friends, and we can talk about any and everything and relate it back to God. So it's kind of like sometimes you need to put yourself out there, like to actually find people. Yeah.
So what can we do to help others as Christians?
Reach out. Reach out.
Reach out. Yeah.
Like reach out to people and ask people like questions. Just ask them questions. How are you doing? I mean, you'll be surprised at what you get from how you doing is going to be like a long list of stories.
And especially people like it when you have a conversation about themselves, not your. They like it a lot. Yeah.
And also, I don't think I agree with that. How are you doing? But we're so used to when somebody asks how are you doing, even when you're not good, it's like, oh, I'm good. I'm chilling. How are you? But it's like asking, just following up. How are you really? Like, how are you mentally? What is going on with you? Like, how do you feel emotionally? Being more intentional about the how are you doing? You're not just asking just to ask it to be like
just like a normal.
Exactly, but actually care about how you're doing. Like, genuinely, how are you doing? You know.
Yeah.
There are reasons to be like not feeling lonely. I felt lonely. I've lost counts. Like I felt lonely on so many reasons, on so many occasions. Like even being like growing up to be an adult, I felt lonely. And I think let me go back to when I was like way younger. When I was young, I was very dark in complexion, like very very dark in complexion. And I remember in school, I don't know. One thing about me is that if I'm in like classroom, I can mentally tell what is really really going on in like what is going on around the classroom. I can tell what the gist is and all that. So for some reason, I got to hear from someone that why is that dude so dark in complexion? Like
the only name is because of the sun.
Yeah, I don't know, but you know,
your environment.
Change of environment.
Yes, yeah. So you know, at that time, and truth be told, I was actually very dark. So I heard somebody say that, and gradually I began to feel and ask myself that, wait, why am I actually dark in complexion? Why? Like why am I actually dark in complexion? And I remember there was time I was young and I got pushed to like getting bleaching cream at that age. Like I got pushed to that point, even though the bleaching cream didn't work.
Social comparison.
Yeah, social comparison. But you know, that was just like a personal experience for me. You know, sometimes the way we look can also like be a reason why we get to feel lonely. For some people, it could be they are like overweight. For some people, it could be their eyes are like very big, that kind of thing. So for me, it was
big head.
Exactly. So that was just my own personal experience from. But eventually, I passed through that stage. I mean, you know, some of these things they just come and go. But that was a personal experience for me.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess I have another experience. Last year, the beginning of the year, I had an internship in DC. So I was with a whole new cohort of people like I didn't really know. And I found myself in an environment where they weren't as godly. And their way of fun and bonding, but not my way of fun and bonding. So I wasn't spending time with them a lot. So I found myself being like lonely. Because I'm like,
yeah.
I don't have any friends here because they what they're gonna do to I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna like jeopardize my relationship with God. That had different values and stuff like that. So I wasn't really cool with everybody in my cohort. I'm like, okay, we're chill, we're cordial, but like I didn't have friends in the cohort. But again, and God came in and saved the day. So I started going to Bible studies, and then I met more people there. I started going to church, like interacting with more people, and then like somehow one day I was going to the house after my internship, and I meet this girl at the light. She's like, "Oh, I love your outfit." She complimented it. She turned out to be Christian, very religious, and we had the same values, and we started hanging out and doing more stuff then. So that was like a way, I guess God answered my prayer and brought somebody where I can do stuff. To this day now we still talk, and it was a good relationship that started just from like the traffic light or something. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're done.
Cut.
So thank you so much. Thank you everybody for coming. This is Worship Party. It's always going to be every weekends or sometimes in the course of the week, like I always say. And thank you for coming, Deborah.
Of course.
Thank you for having me.
Make sure you tune in. Make sure you tune in.
And then share your
Make sure you tune in.
By the way,
and ask questions.
by the way, my name is Deborah.
Deborah.
Yes.
Oh,
Deborah.
my bad.
Not
Deborah.
Deborah.
Yeah, so the next topic is going to be addiction in our modern societies. Thank you so much, and we shall meet next.
Addiction.
Bye.